And this one is the next game coming from Uwe Rosenberg, and this one is also one that I'm very excited about, and it is my own personal pick of the week. The reason for that is that Uwe Rosenberg is one of my favorite designers. He's created many of my favorite games, but I think this one looks a lot different from anything else that he's created, and this one is a lot lighter than most of his games, well, all of his games that I've played. But that being said, I think this one still will offer quite a lot of depth, which is one of the reasons that this is my pick of the week, because I really do like games that are easy to get to the table, easy to teach, easy to play, but offer really good and crunchy decisions. And I just realized that I might have lied because I forgot to consider Patchwork, and I would say that this one is slightly more complex than Patchwork, but really not by much. But this is a game all about growing and harvesting fruit, and there's two different tiles that players are going to be using in order to do that. There are your fruit tiles, and then there are your harvest tiles. Players each also have their own personal player boards, as well as their own stack of harvest tiles that they're going to be keeping next to their board, with two of those tiles always being revealed. The fruit tiles are going to be in a shared supply in the center of the table, and the way that this works is that there's going to be 7 different fruit tokens in a circle, and then you're going to be randomly assigning a fruit tile in between each of those. You might have also noticed that each of the player boards start with the same 7 fruit tokens at the bottom of their board in the starting position, and their position up the board indicates how much of that fruit that player currently has. The catch here is that you're not actually able to move past any of these tiles here, and in order to actually clear those tiles, you need to complete the objective on that tile. There's a bunch of these tiles offered in the game, but you're only going to be using 9 of them in a given game, and all the players are going to have the same tiles on their board. You may have also noticed these number tokens on the left-hand side of the board, and what those are used for is to trigger the end of the game, because those numbers represent the amount of fruit tokens that have to pass that token in order to trigger the final round. This means that a player could trigger the end of the game by getting all 7 of their tokens past this 7 marker, or simply by getting 2 past that 2 marker. But the way that the rounds actually play in this game is that players are going to be taking turns drafting 2 tiles from the center of the table. The way that this works is that you're going to be choosing any one of these fruit tokens and then taking the 2 tiles adjacent to it. The catch here is that whatever fruit you choose, you're going to have to pay that cost by lowering that fruit token on your own personal player board. This indicates you spending that fruit in order to acquire those 2 tiles, which you're then going to go ahead and add into your own personal tableau. Once you've placed those 2 tiles, you'll then be able to choose one of the 2 face-up harvest tiles next to your board, and then also place that into your tableau. These tiles are all different from each other and are going to have harvest icons on different edges of the tile, and wherever you're able to connect those harvest icons to other fruit tiles, you'll be able to harvest those associated fruit. This of course allows you to push that specific fruit up your player board, but if that tile is connected to multiple other tiles of the same fruit, you'll actually get to push up that fruit that many times. And you can also place fruit tiles next to harvest tiles already in play, which will also allow you to gain that fruit. And once you've completely encapsulated the harvest icons on a harvest tile, you'll be able to move one of your number tokens down on your board in descending order, which of course makes ending the game a little bit easier for you. And that's pretty much everything there is to the game. Players are going to be drafting those different tiles, putting them into their tableau, gaining those fruit, and trying to complete those different objectives in order to hold even more fruit. And the end of the game is triggered once a player is able to move enough fruit past any of those number tokens. Once a player does that, you're just going to be finishing up that final round, and then that player wins the game unless any other player was also able to trigger that end condition on their own board, and then it's going to be the player with the most fruit that wins the game. This is one that kind of came out of nowhere for me because I didn't know about this game at all before filming this footage, but Patchwork did really well for itself, and I think I would like this one even more than Patchwork, so I am definitely very interested in this one. I probably will be backing this one depending on the price point, but if you do want to check it out as well, I will have it linked in the description down below, and of course you can follow along just like I did.